Hello, first graders. My name is Mrs. No, and I teach second grade, but I also get to teach our literacy program to you this year, which I'm very excited about because I really like teaching this program. I think it works really well, and I'm excited that I get to be with first grade some. So I am excited for us to begin this year. Now, our first lesson today, we're just going to talk about the way that we sit when we write. And that might seem like a lot, but everything, if we have our foundations firm, then everything about reading and writing will become easier. So that's why we're going to spend a lesson talking about how we sit and then about how we hold our pencil. All right, so some of you probably went to our school last year and you know about how we sit when we're writing, but it's been a while since you were in school, so it's a good time to just remember practicing everything. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is where you're going to be writing on. When you come to school, if you're going to come to school, then you'll have a desk. All right, but no one's coming to school right now, so you'll need to find a place at your house. Ask your parents to help you where you can sit when you're writing. And you want it to be about the height that your desk at school would be. So let me show you. This is my desk, or the one I'm using. I had to make it taller because what I want is for my legs, when I'm sitting in my chair, my legs fit under the desk, but it's such a height that my arms are kind of, let's see, there's a flat line on my arms, see, from my elbow to my fingers. If you have a slanted line like this, that's going to make it hard to write, and that means that your desk is too high. If you have a slanted line like this on your arms, see, from your elbows to your fingers, then that means that your desk is too low, and that's also going to be hard to write. So ask your parents or guardians, an adult that you live with, ask them to help you see if you can find a place where you can sit, where your arms are kind of like mine there, where it's a straight line here, because that's going to be the best position for you to be writing in. All right. Let me show you my chair, because I also needed to find a chair that fit me well, and ask your parents to help you find a chair that fits you well. So when I'm sitting in my chair to write, my bottom is back against the back of the chair, and my feet are flat on the floor. All right. So see if there's a chair that you can sit in at home where you're able to have your feet flat on the floor, because that's going to help provide you a more solid base for writing. All right, now it's very important when we're writing that we sit up nice and straight. That's actually important for everything, for our whole life, because if you're not, let's see, I have to remember this too, if I'm not standing up straight, that means the blood isn't able to circulate around my body as well. And it's also, if I'm slumping forward like this, that puts more strain on certain muscles and it kind of stretches others out. So we always want to make sure we're sitting up straight, but especially when we're writing. All right, so my bottom's back in my chair. My feet are flat on the floor. I'm sitting up nice and straight. So one thing I think about to help me think up straight is think about if you're making a tower of blocks, right? If your tower of blocks aren't stacked really nicely one on top of another, then it's going to be a little bit more wiggly. And if someone runs by, even that wind might just make the tower fall over because it's not as stable. So I like to think about making the top part of my body into a tower of blocks where everything's stacked right on top of each other. So my shoulders are right on top of my hips, right? I don't want to be leaning back because that's not going to be comfortable. I don't want to be leaning forward either because that's not going to be good. So my shoulders are right on top of my hips. And then my neck is also in that same line. It's not, I mean, you can move it up and down, but you don't want to be You don't want to have your neck like this because that's going to hurt you too. So your neck is also stacked on top of your shoulders and then your head as well. So you just move it up and down if you need to see, but you don't want to be leaning your tower over or it's going to fall. All right. So I want to see you sitting up as nice and straight as you can. All right, excellent. Now, let's see, my feet are flat, my blocks are stacked, and so now I'm gonna bring my desk here in front of me. All right, so as soon as you've got your desk and your chair set up, and you're able to sit up nice and straight with your feet flat on the floor, you're halfway there. The next thing we want to do is find our writing spot. The writing spot is where it's most comfortable for you to write. And it's important to find that spot because if you're writing in a place that's putting extra stress on your body or that's not ergonomically good for you, then you're not going to enjoy writing as much. So we want to make sure you're right where you can write comfortably, and then it'll be easier for you to make your letters beautifully. All right, so to find our writing spot, we're going to take our first two fingers and our thumbs and we're going to make them into a triangle, just like that. You can put your other fingers out if you want to. And now put that right in front of you on your desk. All right, so that triangle is going to be your writing spot. That's going to be where it's most comfortable for you to write and also where it's best for your body for you to write. Now, when I'm writing, let's see, I'm not going to be moving my body. If I start on one side of the paper and then I'm writing, I'm not going to move my body because see, that's going to get me out of my writing spot. What I'm going to do instead is just move my paper. So whichever hand I'm not writing with, I'm right-handed, so I write with this hand. That means my left hand is my holding hand, and my left hand's job is to hold my paper. All right, so my left hand is going to be holding the paper. If you're left-handed, then your right hand will be your holding hand. All right, so you don't move from the writing spot, you just move your paper so that you're able to always have where you're writing right in your writing spot. Right. One more thing about how we're sitting, I forgot to say this earlier, is we want to sit comfortably close to our desk, but we don't want to be touching the desk. If I'm all the way touching my desk, then that's going to have my writing spot too far out. That's going to be harder for me to write. And if I'm really far away from my desk too, that's also going to be pretty hard and I'm going to end up tilting forward and then my blocks might fall. So we want to be close to our desk, but not touching it. So one measurement I like to use is I'm about 3 fingers away from my desk. So one way you can do that is put 3 fingers together. Okay, I'm right about 3 fingers away from my desk, and that feels pretty comfortable. So I'm almost ready to write. I'm sitting up straight, my feet are flat on the floor. I've found my writing spot. I know my left hand is going to be my holding hand, although yours might be your right hand. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly slant my paper. So if something that goes straight across is not slanted, but this, if it's angled or tilted a little bit, it's slanted. So I'm going to have, where I'm going to start is going to be right there in the middle of my starting spot, but slightly slanted, because that's a more comfortable way for us to write. All right, so today I want you to practice a few times. Maybe your parents can help you. If they tell you ready to write, then you are sitting up nice and straight, feet flat on the floor, close to your desk, but not touching with your writing spot. Okay, so I want you to practice that a few times today. If we were in class, we would practice it all throughout the day. I would say, ready to write, and you would show me, yes, I'm ready. All right, but when we say ready to write, we're sitting up nice and straight with our feet flat on the floor with our writing spot. And if we have our paper, it's just slightly angled there under our holding hand. All right, so keep practicing how we're going to sit to write. And next lesson later today, we're going to learn how to hold a pencil.